to kind of upset them here and change that all around.
I got a question for you, Zoinks.
Okay.
I think the Cakekalok composition for this game too.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a problem with it per se.
Okay,
but I
sick.
would have
Let's go
substituted.
Gengar.
No, I would have substituted Gengar for another speedster. I would have Absol, I would have Dodrio.
I love that you didn't mention any. You were just like, any other speedster, actually.
I mean, I did mention them afterwards, but yes,
Right.
I do mean it.
Yeah,
I do mean it. You are correct.
Yeah, yeah. I read between the lines. I get it. No, I do think there are some other really good options. I mean, but also just really well exposed by Talon Esports. Ghastly is certainly not an early game powerhouse by any means,
Just
and
lick.
so yeah, we saw a really solid invade off the start that kept them at a tough level deficit for a long time. Not only stealing buffs, but even threatening a KO on Ghastly, making it so powerful that the poor Ghastly had to return all the way back to home goal zone to get healed up, right? So, yeah, a really tough look. Obviously, this team has been practiced with it if they're confident enough to pick it at the World Championship stage, even here on day one. So they got a lot of practice on it. They got to be well known for it, but hopefully they got some other options in the tank. That's all we're saying.
And you mentioned that with the invades and just keeping the Ghastly in a very bad position in the early game. I think they pretty well managed that Charizard because they really shut down the Charmander pretty quickly too, which was super important because
They broke tier 1 before first Regieleki as
they
well.
did.
So, yeah.
It was amazing. So very good early game rotations here from Talon with keeping the two teams in the same place. Cakekalok has chosen the purple side, and we'll see the same bans now with not a dash with a 2%
All
ban
right.
rate for Zoroark.
All right, from new introduction to just regular member.
Yeah,
Zoroark
yeah.
slowly charging up that ban percentage. So, Cakekalok, so far, at least in that last game, is picking Charizard in this position. They will not change that up, so going to be locking it in yet again. It's such an important part of their roster and their compositions. No surprises there that it's yet again a Charizard first pick.
Not surprised, like you said. Not surprised about the Latios
true.
and the Zacian either. Great control that Talon has had in the early game, and I feel like that is just the. I was gonna do the cherry on top, but it just reminds me of Cake in the fight against Cakekalok. Yeah. Anyways, so on the side of Talon, I really appreciate how they manage this composition like they did the last game, and they have not just the softening down the damage, but having the actual finishes with the Zacian and the Latios.
Yeah, the Fable Moonlight healing was also pretty impressive. We didn't get to talk about it too much. Supports can be tough to kind of center in on in some of these team fights, but it was a whole lot of Moonlight. I think one of the most relevant parts was right at their Rayquaza fight, having a total comeback moment with that Moonlight healing. Will be a lot of repeats, though. I hope Sig 1 can get a big bomb moment with those Electro Balls in this next game, because that was pretty terrifying. Cakekalok, we're got some familiar hovers here. I was actually somewhat curious. Okay, there we go. Now you get all creamy. I see you. I see
don't know
you.
if I'm happy because it's with the Gengar now.
Hey, come on.
I mean, if you think about it, hear me out, hear me out. Just put the little dollops, the recovers, straight where you're going to have the sludge bombs. So when the Gengar comes in, it gets healed immediately.
Yeah, could be a tech. I like it a lot. But I do think my favorite combination play that we've seen with Alcremie so far this week was showcased by Nouns Esports with the Snorlax and Alcremie. I think it's really impressive if you have good coordination between those two players. Snorlax can be holding a block, doing whatever they need to do, and knowing exactly where to back up to receive that healing. The goal zone defenses were insane from Nouns Esports when they were pulling off that combo. So we might be seeing something a little similar here. The big question for me, and I think Cakekalok picking the Snorlax might be a major part of it, is can they stop the invade against Mark God's Gengar? Because that was, I think, the breaking point. The straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. You don't want it to happen 30 seconds into the game, usually. So hopefully they can find a way to shut down that invade, whether it's from Zacian or even a Clefable earlier on running into the other side. And Mamoswine can have a pretty threatening invade as well. So it's a lot of threats. We'll see if Gengar can find a way to dissuade a few of them.
Yeah, it could be even a joint effort there, because if you see the Mamoswine coming in and just having that extra bit of buying time because of the freeze, it's something that could work out pretty well to especially punish the Ghastly, as we saw in the last game as well.
Yeah,
but
true.
Snorlax, just like you mentioned, just does really well in helping in defending against those invades. One thing that I'm also thinking about on the side of Cakekalok is how we saw, like, we have the Alcremie. You mentioned the power of Snorlax with the block. I love to highlight the power nap and how we can work out together with the Unite move from Alcremie, because it's just going to be maintaining everybody's health in the area as well. But getting into game 3 of our match of Cakekalok on the purple side versus Talon on the orange.
Okay, I like this. We're going to jump over that jump head and try to get early vision and see if an invade is showing up. I'm not sure. It looks like Snorlax does catch the swine up this time around, sees them moving towards the blue buff, and yeah, you're right. Fairway does already have the red buff in hand. Snorlax going to try to protect the blue buff and going to be unsuccessful.
Oh, wow.
Talon, 2 for 2 on the steals of the objectives.
I mean, kind of feels pretty good with the joint effort with the swine up coming in, and they both stole it, defender and supporter. What a start for Talon, but look at that, almost so close to the execute. Not going to be the case for Sunsage. When you have those electro balls on your way, you still got to be very careful about it. Although, swine up, you do have your buff. You're still swine up, so slow down, slow down.
Hey, but an earlier Haunter at this point in time, right? So we do have an evolution for Mark God already. Again, oh, love that play from Snorlax. Pick up those Electro Ball to try to get them before they actually spawn in Alterias. So Sync can't pick those up. However, a whole lot of damage from both sides. I think a pretty even trade around those objectives of the Swabble Alteria. Mark God grabbing a couple.
That was very beautiful. Love that. Now getting super punished here, the Charmander. And again, I feel like this Talon has just really cracked the code to understand how to punish those Charizards. Now healing Moonlight going out from... Whoa, the backup is here! So Fable will go down, but it's still going to be a trade. And turning into a Pillow Swine will also help out coming in. Pick them up. Ice Fang, we're good.
Yeah, now that you have access to Ice Fang, you're just a much more relevant threat. Mamoswine, interestingly, is one of those Pokemon. You don't need your 9. Your Unite move is okay, but it's definitely not the make or break part of this Pokemon. Just having access to Ice Fang is enough of an asset sometimes. So you already see that chase down, a tackle chase into an Ice Fang. Very impressive stuff so far. Cakekalok, though, getting a chance to score, and most notably, the Charizard really going to need those attack weight stacks.
Ooh, okay, Margot actually had to use their moves to get away, and because of that as well, Snorlax was kind of left unprotected. Good place for Talon to keep on pushing, or at least get some dominance here. Ooh, careful there, Sludge Bomb gets a nice freeze. Ice Fang will cancel it. Wow, it canceled the Hex.
Is Markov playing Shadow Ball Hex? That is...
Did you see Shadow Ball there?
I
was
think
that a misclick?
So. If that's the case, this is a wild decision from Mark God. Already playing Gengar as a wild choice. Let's go. World Championships 2025. We're making it spicy here on the main stage for y'all.
Yes, it is. With the Gengar, with the Alcremie on the same team, the builds looking quite unusual.
Yes.
But that's what we know, that players can just show up and say, well, we actually practiced this quite a bit and we just learned about it in the interview. So who knows? On the top side, Talon will take the Regieleki, while bot will be contested on a 4 for Cakekalok versus 3 here for Talon, as the focus from Zacian is on the top side.
Right. Yeah, Charizard doing a little bit better in levels this game than last. However, they still have a 2-level deficit against their path opponent. Zacian is at that level 10. Charizard finally ticking into level 9. Doesn't feel worth it to go down to the Registeel until you got the Unite move, but RBX going to start things, and what a great pull. Suicune already gone.
Wow. That Ion Blast was absolutely crazy. Oh, but a steal that comes through from Cakekalok. They're going to be cleaned up, though, on this fight. But still, it's very good for those numbers, the EXP that you can get. But if Talon can continue to push on forward, look at the damage from this Latios. Really great performance from Dylan in this game so far. Seismic Slam straight onto the support. No Clefable, but they know they can't really keep on pushing. Unless Lance just goes for an overpush. No, we're good.
Ooh, that is a really tough choice to have to make. You use your Unite move because you finally got access to it. But
sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just the amount of damage, Zoinks. It just really just freaks me out.
Well, they got a jillion levels on the side of town. They are crushing it right now at this point in time. Cakekalok having a really tough time getting that comeback. But yeah, that Unite move, not having access to it now is going to be devastating. And all you use it was to exchange for a Clefable. That is a really tough choice to have to make. This Charizard is going to need to farm up yet again, which means Cakekalok, if they do want to take a fight, will always be trying to attempt it 4v5.
Right, interesting push here that we're still seeing. No objective here on the bot side, but still plenty of efforts on this bot tier 1. Coming through as well with a fly, a nice KO coming from the Clefable on that Unite move. Will guarantee some extra space, and there will most likely end, they will, a 16 overdunk there for the side of Talon, 189 to 57.
Yeah, Lance not even worried about putting their AO synergy into the goal zone. They're instead using that to empower their Metal Claw. They are charging down. The tier 1 wasn't even broken, and the Flux Zone meant nothing to Lance as they are charging across the map. Already going to be taking down this Regieleki. You can see Cakekalok instead just electing to farm up as quickly as they can. They know yet another team fight's going to be knocking at their front door.
Yeah, it's just melting at the touch of Lance, right? And Dylan and Sync. It's just quite a lot that Talon is doing at this point. Got to be so careful about any potential step and moving in. Oh, guys, Frank gets the support. No, actually, the defender going in with a seismic slam could be something that's good for Cakekalok. Then it's actually working out massively for them. Look at them go! And it's actually 4 KOs for Cakekalok. What a wonderful defense. Dylan survives, but that is still going to be a potential cleanup of this top tier 1 with a 15 overdunk.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. I mean, Snorlax finding just a small window where they could finally use their Unite move. It can be tough in those crowd control chains, right? You're picked up once, you're stunned again, trying to find a time to actually, yeah, I'm rapidly pressing that button. They finally found it, get the shield, and then the Suicune Unite move after is just such a fantastic 1-2 hit. Impressive stuff from Cakekalok, but they are so
push? No, we're good.
Ooh, that is a really tough choice to have to make. You use your Unite move because you finally got access to it. But
sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just the amount of damage swings. It just really just freaks me out.
Well, they got bajillion levels on the side of Talon. They are crushing it right now at this point in time. Cakekalok having a really tough time getting that comeback. But yeah, that Unite move, not having access to it now is going to be devastating. And all you use it was to exchange for a Clefable. That is a really tough choice to have to make. This Charizard is going to need to farm up yet again, which means Cakekalok, if they do want to take a fight, will always be trying to B5.
Right, interesting push here that we're still seeing. No objective here on the bot side, but still plenty of efforts on this bot tier 1. Coming through as well with a fly, a nice KO coming from the Clefable on that Unite move. Will guarantee some extra space, and there will most likely end, they will, a 16 overdunk there for the side of Talon, 189 to 57.
Yeah, Lance not even worried about putting their AO synergy into the goal zone. They're instead using that to empower their Metal Claw. They are charging down. The tier 1 wasn't even broken, and the Flux Zone meant nothing to Lance as they are charging across the map. Already going to be taking down this Regieleki. You can see Cakekalok instead just electing to farm up as quickly as they can. They know yet another team fight's going to be knocking at their front door.
Yeah, it's just melting at the touch of Lance, right? And Dylan and Sync. It's just quite a lot that Talon is doing at this point. Got to be so careful about any potential step and moving in. Oh, guys, Frank gets the support. No, actually, the defender going in with a seismic slam could be something that's good for Cakekalok. Then it's actually working out massively for them. Look at them go! And it's actually 4 KOs for Cakekalok. What a wonderful defense. Dylan survives, but that is still going to be a potential cleanup of this top tier 1 with a 15 overdunk.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. I mean, Snorlax finding just a small window where they could finally use their Unite move. It can be tough in those crowd control chains, right? You're picked up once, you're stunned again, trying to find a time to actually, yeah, I'm rapidly pressing that button. They finally found it, get the shield, and then the Suicune Unite move after is just such a fantastic 1-2 hit. Impressive stuff from Cakekalok, but they are so far behind that they gotta keep doing it again and again. They want to win this game 3.
Yeah, we're about 50 points ahead here for Talon. Now coming in as well. We're still dealing damage from the side of Talon on this Red Giant verdict goes. Maybe it's going to be a steal again.
There it is.
And Cakekalok does it. And it's this Gengar that we had been thinking about. Like, maybe this wasn't the build. Oh, I guess it was the build.
I'll believe it. I'm waiting for the interview.
And we need the interview. We need to know.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Alolan Raichu Unite move in an attempt to stop the scoring on that goal zone. It will not prevent the tier 1 from being broken, but it does force Cakekalok to make a much smaller score. So we're looking at 206 to 209 headed towards the 2-minute mark. There will be a Regieleki spawning in with plenty of time for either of these teams to force it towards one of these tier 2s. That is such a risky fight, but Cakekalok feeling great about their levels. Charizard almost at level 14. They have come back in a major way from that really tough early game they've been dealt with.
Coming back from being behind in points in the team fights is just something that takes quite a lot of mental and resilience strength. Now, this team, with the numbers you said on the levels, makes quite a lot of difference. Although Talon has now conquered 3 players on level 13 as well, that does rival just how much damage they need to win these fights. So they really need to land, for example, these Electro Balls and just maybe catching somebody off guard. But I think it's mainly on the Mamoswine. RBX has been doing pretty well on these Ice Fang engages, but if they can't just neutralize immediately, it could be just really bad for them.
Yeah, it's true. We got the in-game warning that it's a close battle. You better believe it. Snorlax getting stunned quite a bit. Electro Ball stunned, but they do have the block shield. That is going to be a Latios Unite move. Not strong enough to get the full KO, especially with the damage reduction from block. So they're going to walk away, and importantly, holds on to the Snorlax Unite move.
Now they do, but here it comes again with the eject button. Maybe the Mammoth Sword is going to go down. Mammoth Mash is still maintaining them. How they look at that predict on the Heavy Slam, looking pretty good. And now Cakekalok is on top. The Seismic Slam as well, just guaranteeing that they have extra space to come in. Now Latios poking out onto the Snorlax, but it's really just zoning Talon from this pit. They are really just melting right now. The Zacian trying to go for the Sacred Sword, and they don't have enough damage. It was pretty close, but it wasn't quite enough.
All right, well, now it's only 2 attackers that can kind of threaten the Rayquaza from Talon Esports, so potentially Cakekalok could just try to push them out. Mamoswine was a good early force in this team fight, but they're only at level 11. They need to hit that 12. Rayquaza already below half HP.
Look at them go. There's the Latios, and it is a steal from Latios. Talon will take the Rayquaza. 3 points difference is what you have right now for this game of 3, and they are with their shields 100 points to be scored. Dylan will dodge that block with the eject button, and it's a hundo burger for them.
It's also going to set up Sync on the Alolan Raichu to score in that home base. They were really hoping that one of those tier 1s was going to vanish. They will get the block to push them away. Only 30 seconds remain in this matchup. Sync once Rayquaza's shield will hold strong. Hundo burger for them as well, and Talon Esports in a game number 3 hold on to this record against this Cakekalok squad. 2 World Championships in a row, they take the W.
And this is a historic win to me, because the way they turned that back around, it was just so close with all of these team fights that they kept on having. Even throughout the game, yeah, early Talon was doing well, but then all of a sudden Cakekalok was like, this is what we can do. We got so much firepower. And then all of a sudden, it was both sides kind of equal. 3v3, 2 going down. And it felt like it was such an even matchup that when you see that steal coming through from Latios, that was in this. I'm just showing my pinky. Yeah. It's this much HP that Latios had.
Yeah, a very impressive Luster Purge shot to end that one. Wow, I mean, yeah, I think MVP award for clutch moment of the game is going to go to that Latios steal, because truly, you were trying to take that objective in the face of a level 14 Charizard, like so much firepower on the side of Cakekalok, and Cakekalok's just stuck in that decision-making time where you have less than a minute left on the clock. You could try to take those attackers out in time, but you're giving more time for members of Talon to spawn in, and then the case is, even if you get the Rayquaza, will you have time enough to score after that? So Talon almost making just an impossible situation for Cakekalok to deal with, and of course the cherry on top being that Luster Purge secure.
Oh, what a game.
Yeah.
What a game. It was super close. Like we mentioned, there was the Talon lead in the early, like we see here, but then all of a sudden we were like power on power, like 3 points away.
Yeah, I mean, calling it close, I think that's extremely true. This was that moment, though, that Cakekalok finally had a chance to come back. A really nice place. You called that Snorlax Unite move, so important in that fight specifically.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, This Gengar build, listen, I was shocked to see it, but Cakekalok had this team fight win. Like, so many impressive moments in this battle. Of course, the Zacian and the Latios combining for the KO on the Snorlax. And Gengar, Suicune, and Charizard, and it's Latios Luster Purge that's taken it. Talon Esports feeling like they're fated to win that series.
Yeah, and it feels pretty fun as well, considering Latios 4th anniversary, Pokemon Unite.
Yeah, sure.
It's awesome. I feel like I saw that little bit of HP on Latios and I said, that's enough. That is enough for them to steal, because the amount of damage you have with the side beam too. It's like, just so much with the auto attack boost. It's, like you mentioned, 3 people that could have really hold the block.
Yeah, it's a challenging position to be in, but I mean, that's what these top level teams are doing. They make really tough situations even to the perfect ones. So love that Latios secure. Talon Esports looking a lot better in those games 2 and 3. I think having much better showings. Cakekalok also looking strong, and they did defeat Kamai 2-0 earlier on in the day. So we'll have to see what the rest of the group's looking like. But we do have an interview on stage with Talon Esports, so let's hear from them.
And let's hear it for Talon Esports once again, folks.